What do you know? We have more glass.
Hi guys, I'm Allison. I'm the artist behind Equinox Glass. I thought I would do something different this week for Fuse Glass Friday. Now that I have 500 subscribers here on YouTube, I thought it was about time that I introduced myself and did a little studio tour. When I first started this YouTube channel, I thought maybe 10 people would be interested in watching me make fused glass art. So thank you to all of you who have been watching my videos, who've been enjoying them. Thank you to those who leave comments. It's really helpful to have the feedback there. So I first learned about glass fusing in 2007 when I started working at Glassworks Studio in Morristown, New Jersey. I completely fell in love and have been working with glass ever since. So it's been about 15 years now, and I feel like I'm still learning, I'm still experimenting, and that's definitely part of the fun of this art form for me. In 2017, my husband and I actually moved to Germany for 4 years, so I was unable to bring a kiln with me there. The electricity is different. I didn't want to make such an expensive purchase when we were only going to be there for a limited amount of time. So what I started doing to, keep making art while I was there is I would come back to visit my family here in the States. I would make big bags full of fused glass cabochons, like basically, marbles that are flat on one side. And I started making jewelry in Germany. So I incorporated polymer clay and wire, all things that you don't need a kiln to make. I will insert some pictures of my jewelry designs here. When we moved back to the States last year, it was actually pretty perfect timing because Glassworks Studio was switching the type of glass that they use from COE 96 to COE 90. For those of you that may not know, those two types of fusible glass are not compatible with each other. So I moved back and I was looking to set up my home studio, and Glassworks was looking to get rid of their incompatible 96 glass, so I was able to purchase a lot of glass from Glassworks, and that is where most of my supplies came from, so I'm very grateful for that. So we can go ahead and start the tour of the studio. Full disclosure, I did do quite a bit of cleaning. This space is not usually so clean. Art is messy, but that's part of the fun. Okay, so we are now entering the studio from the hallway. I'm fortunate enough to have an extra bedroom in our house, and this serves as my studio. There are 3 windows which provide lots of natural light. It is on the first floor, so that's why we have the curtains, so I can have some privacy. Okay, so coming over here, I have lots of glass. I do try to keep it by color for the most part. So we have purples and sort of iridescent colors here, blues, greens, red, orange, yellow. These baskets I just got at the dollar store, so nothing special. But just, try to keep some of those smaller pieces in there. I have a lot of 2-inch squares, so I didn't want to just stack those up. I have some neutrals down here. These trays are really great. I got these from Target. They're stackable. So these are just, as I'm working at the table, I collect lots of scraps of glass, and then once my scrap glass gets sort of overflowed, I'll filter it back in here by color just so I can see what I have. Here we have some larger clear pieces, sort of already cut into some circles back here and some squares. Black and white, a little sugar skull that broke. Maybe I'll do more of those in the future. More black and white here. And then I have the larger 12-inch squares of glass in these, what are these called? Plate holders. They're like for plates, but I use them for glass. They work pretty well. They're bamboo. I got them on Amazon, I believe. So there's blue down here, some red, orange, some neutral colors. This is one of my favorite pieces. This swirly bit. Love that.
glass here. So that's the sheet glass.
This is ridiculous. Up top you can see how much I was able to acquire from Glassworks. Lots of little bits in there. I'll use these to turn into frit balls eventually. So these are frit balls, glass dots. Let's see if we can get it to focus here. So pre-fired little glass dots that bead up into circles. I really enjoy using those in my projects. They are good for dots. A lot of the little plant pieces I make, I use those. What do we have back here? More frit balls. I have some large tubes of stringers and noodles back here. These are straight lines of glass. Here I have all of my Dichro, so some smaller bits, can't focus, of Dichro as well. You'll see a lot of things are labeled 96 just because that's how Glassworks is, you know, trying to keep things separate so that there was no confusion. So I just left it because there's no reason not to. This lovely painting was painted by my mother-in-law, so I love having that in this space. See, down here on the side, oh, and this storage unit, of course, I think everybody knows it's the Kallax from IKEA, so definitely the perfect size for, you know, what I needed in here. This is a cardboard box filled with more glass. This is actually, there are 12-inch sheets of clear in here. I ordered this recently. I haven't had to open it and use it yet, but that's what that is. We have some clear scrap over here. We have, this says green. I don't think there's actually green in there. Christmas tree bases. I'm not sure what's in there. Maybe I can open those up later. Here I have some of my jewelry, some necklaces that I've made. This bag is my signs and display stands for when I do craft shows. Here we have the surfaces that I use to cut the glass on. So I have just a square one, and then I have the larger one that has the straight edge cutter on it. That's the mini beetle bits, I think is what it was called. I have a tub that I also have more craft show stuff in, so just things that I don't need all the time. And this is where I film my videos. This is my work surface. So this probably looks familiar to those of you who watch my videos. I have my setup here. This is what holds the camera so that I can get this nice, you know, bird's eye view. This is the chair where I sit. Sometimes I also film from this side. It depends on the day. It depends on what kind of natural light I have coming in, because the light above here, I usually turn that off for videos because it glares really bad. Okay, so this is the stand, a tripod that holds my phone so I can make reels for Instagram and stuff. This is scrap glass. We have some Windex here. We have a lighter and candle that I use to bend stringers. We have, I don't know if I can get this open with one hand. This is all smaller scraps of stringer. There we go. Smaller stringers. I had to order some extra green and brown. Hairspray to hold the frit down. We have a little scrap glass. Baggies of glass always hanging out. Sometimes I'm not even sure what to do with stuff, but I hate to throw things away, so it just keeps it in bags. This is, you know, smaller pieces, larger scrap pieces, and then like I said, when this sort of gets too full, I will then transfer to those bins over there. All right, coming down below, what do you know? We have more glass. These are like pre-made picture frames. This is just some strips, longer strips as well. I do have some rods that are primarily used for lamp working, but can use them for fusing as well. Some clear iridescent glass. Coming over here on this side, what do we have here? We have some confetti. So this is really thin pieces of glass. I found this on a website. I haven't used it a whole lot, but it is fun to play with. This mix of colors. Like that there, some random other little bits that I just don't know what to do with. Underneath the table, we have even more glass. This says silhouette, but that's not true. This is actually glass that I can use for mosaics. It's not fusible. This is more mosaic. This is mirror glass. I have more mosaic stuff under here. So this is all not fusible. Leave it under there. Broken projects on top. But then I do have some 90 glass. See how I've labeled that to keep it separate. So I bought this 90 glass before I moved to Germany, just to experiment with, before I had this whole studio worth of 96 glass. This glass in here was actually gifted to me when I was in college by one of my classmates. It's very, very thin. It's by the brand Wasser, W-A-S-S-E-R. It says, I can't get it to focus. It says it's 90. So I have been fusing it a little bit with, you know, the bullseye 90 that I have. But some of these have like really cool patterns. And like I said, they're very, very thin. So they're really easy to cut, kind of cuts like butter. I have looked for more of this, but it's like vintage and discontinued. So if anybody has, you know, has any Wasser glass that they're trying to get rid of or knows of some, I really, really like it and would like to have more. All right, so let's close that up. Ooh. Okay, side of the table, I have my dustpan for sweeping up the shards of glass. I have my N95 mask that I use when I'm using the powdered glass. You should always wear one of those. You don't want to breathe that stuff in. This is a rag for cleaning. We have a Dremel here that I sometimes attempt to drill holes into glass with, but seem to be very unsuccessful. So if anyone has any tips, definitely let me know. Coming around to the front of the table, we have bubble wrap and boxes from things that I've ordered. You know, I keep them for when I ship pieces out. You know, bubbles and peanuts in here. This little cart in front of the window, I tend to put my kiln shelf on. It's in the kiln right now, but if it's not, I usually leave it on top of here and then I can, you know, add pieces to it until it's full, and then I bring it out into the garage where my kiln is to fire. Underneath here, sort of halfway done projects, experiments, things that didn't work out, some of my pieces from YouTube, kind of a catch-all, should probably go through that at some point. Here we have a bin of scrap kiln paper, again sourced from Glassworks, so thank you, Stacy. I have my tripod. I actually take photos of some of my items here. You can see the blank nail on the wall. I'll hang it on the wall, have the tripod set up here, and then I have a nice white background with natural light coming in from the left. I have a puzzle that I put together and framed. Thought that was cute. Here I have more glass. This is sort of, again, another bin I sort of have to go through and organize. But some pretty cool pieces in here too. Love this color, stripes there. Here we have some scrap stringer. This is just on a tray that makes it really easy to, you know, find what you're looking for. Then I have one underneath of frit balls as well, which is the same idea, easy to find what you're looking for. These are both just clear scraps, nothing exciting. This is more, I have clear circles, larger circles over here that I haven't decided what to do with yet. Then I have 3 of these containers. These are filled with not glass for a change. So this one is polymer clay on top here, and then polymer clay tools, so like punches, and these are for making beads. More cutters down there.
This is my pasta machine that's used in polymer clay. Then over here, I have some specialty paints and things. I have some gouache. This is PBO porcelain, what's it called? Porcelain 150. So this is a glass paint that's not fusible, but you can add it to the glass and then you bake it on in a regular oven. This is some paint and embossing stuff. I've tried to put a little bit of everything at some point. Here we have mica powder, and this is really great, this Inca Gold. It's sort of like a paste, but it's shiny. It's really pretty on polymer clay. Enjoy using that a lot. Oh, I do have some glass in here because I was doing a test on using mica powder on glass. So you can fire it into the glass. It's pretty subtle, but it is pretty. So I should hold on to this. I forgot I made that. And then last one, again, just more sort of general crafting things. Some polymer clay stuff. Oh, gold leaf, that's pretty cool. These stamps, medium. And then this one is sort of the catch-all. This is like label maker, got some AirPod box, poster putty, glue gun. These are some mosaics that I had started 5-6 years ago that I never finished. Ooh, what's in here? More overflow. It's like candles I made at one point. The original bookcase that I started making. This was, oh, I made my brother a little guitar for Christmas. This was the original one that broke, or I broke rather. I had to remake it. Yeah, some fun stuff in there. This cart here is sort of like my general tools that I use. There's, you know, wire cutters and pliers. This is fusible nichrome wire, so I use that to make hooks in my project. We have jewelry saw. This is a metal jewelry saw, paintbrushes, metal punch, leather punch, basically every little tool you could think of. These are Band-Aids, so these are cute. Stay chill, so when I cut myself, I have the Band-Aids right here. Q-tips are always useful. These are filing pads for if a project comes out of the kiln and they are a little bit sharp in one area, I can file these down. They're diamond tips. Down on the second shelf, I have some little terracotta pots. So I make little fused glass succulents that I put in here. I have these frames that I bought at Michael's that I was intending to make projects with. Haven't really gotten to that yet, so I'll have to do that soon. I have some wine bottle corks that I've been making, as well as these little vials that I've been making bud vases with. So that's all there. What else? Oh, so here I have fired projects that are, you know, listed on Etsy for sale. I do try to keep them organized. I had them up on the shelf, but you know, they just get so heavy that I had a vision of the shelf just coming down and everything breaking. So I moved them over to the floor. Here I have some magnets on a little display for when I go to craft shows. This is kiln paper, larger sheets of it if I'm firing a larger piece and don't want to crease. Here is backgrounds for when I'm photographing my products. Cardboard boxes. We have the shipping center here, tape, bubble wrap, you know, whatever this stuff is called to put in packages, tissue paper, more boxes. Some jewelry stuff down here, cord and whatnot. And then this is jewelry findings, so like crimp beads and earring backs and such. Here I have some pre-made polymer clay pieces. So what I do is I sort of make the glass pieces, the glass components all in batches, and then I'll make the polymer clay pieces all in batches, and then I just sort of play a matching game and see what looks good together. So I like to have choices. Here are some fused glass cabochons, there's so many. So to make earrings or rings. Here, what's the next one we have? Here we have, I think these are ones that I've assembled, but then they still need the findings. So like, you know, this is an earring. I can't get it to focus. This is an earring, but it needs the wire hook. So these are just waiting to be complete. Same with like the necklaces that just need the hooks on the end. That is, but I'm not sure what's this next one. Well, some pendants I've made. These are sort of like the zodiac signs on earrings. Little hooks that I've pre-made to fuse into the glass. More cabochons, more pre-fired pieces. See, I can't get rid of anything. Price labels and tags. These are Dremel bits. Again, I'm not having the best of luck with drilling holes. These cute little drawers, I have some decals that I print on fusible paper to make my own little decals, so I use those in some of my designs. Hooks and magnet backs, things like that. Nothing too exciting. This is my photography stuff, so I take pictures on some props like that. There's my camera bag up there. Those boxes are just empty. Coming over here, we have my computer space. Hi, I have my computer space with the super cool chair that I love. If you notice the dog theme, my little dog mouse pad, little dog stress ball, my dog planner, some dog art. Love dogs. Actually, if you might be able to hear them walking around. If we do have 2 dogs, they are not allowed in the studio to protect their paws, but maybe I will show you them at the end of the video. So this is where I try to keep organized with like my business stuff. Some business cards I send out when somebody orders something online as a little, you can write a little thank you note. I have my scale for when I'm shipping packages. This is a Wacom tablet, so this is the tablet part. And then I have the little pen over here. That's really great to use with the Adobe programs. Specifically, I like Illustrator, so you can sort of, sketch on this thing. It goes right into your computer. It's really cool. I've enjoyed that a lot. My diplomas, little ram's head, and that is I actually made this flower crown and wore that at my wedding, so I like to have that. And let's see, what do we have on this side? This side we have a silhouette machine up top here. I don't use it as often as I used to, but I can make custom decals and things like that. Some rods up there in glass jars. These are the projects that I've made in my YouTube videos. These are some other dishes that I have just listed for sale. Up here we have some pieces that are waiting to be slumped into shapes. Be a soap dish. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Here I have some of my already made jewelry. So I have rings and a whole bucket full of earrings, both posts and then dangles. I have them on my business cards here. I really like the way that looks. I think it looks nice. Here we have some of those little aloe plants I was talking about. These are listed for sale as well. In here I have a lot of the bookshelves that I've been making and some ornaments. This is just sort of a random catch-all for things. And then I have my books from when I was in school, all my art books that don't really read ever but can't really get rid of. This box is molds that I just haven't moved out to the garage yet where the kiln is, but it molds here. Oh, and then frit. We haven't talked about the glass frit yet. Yeah, I have a lot of frit. It is sort of in order. The coarse, the larger sizes are over here on the shelf. I don't really use the coarse terribly often. Then we have powder on the top and second shelf. These are all powders. I have the little powder sifters here too. And then we have, what is that? That's the size called fine. It's a little bit bigger. I really like that. And then I think the size that I use the most often is probably the medium. So these are all mediums. Then we have a broom, always helpful in a glass studio. This is my little doorstop dog, super cute. Oh, there is also more art supplies in the closet. So I turn the light on here. This actually looks pretty organized. So I do have, this is another IKEA piece of furniture, I think Ivan or something, I can't remember, but we sort of had to build it in the closet to make it fit. So I have a big roll of bubble wrap. I have some beads and yarn and things I really don't use very often are down at the bottom. More packing peanuts. Yeah, these are all the beads that I use for making my jewelry, and a little bead board for necklaces. Washi tape, stickers, things like that. I got pretty into scrapbooking while I was in Germany. I have some wire in here and more miscellaneous sort of sheet metal, and this is copper mesh. You can actually fuse this into glass projects as well. Some canvases, and these are necklace displays that I don't really like. More art supplies, polyurethane, varnish and such. More, I think this is mostly acrylic paint in here. And we have some chalk pastels. That is miniature painting. This stuff is my husband's for board games. And some really just random stuff on the top shelf. Yeah, so that is my closet. Probably need to organize that at some point, but it's not terrible, so that's pretty good. Now I think that is it. We'll do another pan of the whole room. Yeah, this is where I create, this is where I work. And we're not gonna let them in here, but I will call the dogs just to introduce them to you guys. Bacchus Laker here. Good boy, sit. Sit. Good boy. So that's Laker, the brown one. Bacchus, sit. Good boy, and that's Bacchus. So these are my little buddies. Usually I do have the door open when I'm working, and they know they're not allowed in here, but they do like to stand and lay in the hallway. Bacchus especially will sort of tap dance out here if he wants some attention. Isn't that right? You guys are good helpers. Say hi to everybody on YouTube.